Oh boy, this is some crazy news. Gavin Newsom is cooking. We've been talking about him a lot lately. He's had a quite wild ride the last month or so. He's gotten a lot more positive attention by the left as of late due to his Twitter antics where he's been posting as if he is Donald Trump, like imitating him and whatnot. And this has caused Trump to totally change his style of tweets out of sheer shame of the fact that he's being called out so incessantly. I did not think that such a arguably immature troll would actually work, and yet it very much has. Like, chuds are falling for it, they're taking the bait, they're getting mad, and we covered that, and we had a good time about it. We had a good time. Now, when it comes to Gavin Newsom more recently, though, there's a lot of pressure. It's mounting. Trump hates Gavin Newsom, and now he's targeting him. Most notably with a threat of an assessment from the Secret Service, a threat assessment as they call it, over an X post. Yeah, over a Twitter post. They are threatening him with a Secret Service threat assessment. Anything they can do now to try and shake their political opponents, huh? But Gavin Newsom did not take this lying down. Within only a few hours, he was on the podium announcing a new law within the state of California that is a real big middle finger to Trump and his federal ICE agents that are now running through the state trying to find illegal immigrants. So let's start with the threat assessment news. This is sort of the inciting event that leads to the secondary part of this story. U.S. Attorney refers Gavin Newsom to Secret Service for threat assessment over an X post. Oh wait, is this okay? We got audio of him talking here, so I'll turn on the audio. Oh wait, we don't. Bill Essayli, the acting U.S. Attorney for Central District of California, on Saturday said he referred Governor Gavin Newsom to the Secret Service for a full threat assessment. Let me guess, Republican? After Newsom wrote on social media a jab targeting Homeland Security, Director of Homeland Security, I believe, Kristi Noem. Oh, no, she is Secretary, not Director. My bad. We have zero tolerance for direct or implicit threats against government officials, as Essayli wrote on X. Yeah, they're totally gonna fuck you, bro. Adding, he referred this matter to the Secret Service and requested a full threat assessment. Okay, you're repeating the same lines. Okay, now, in response to this, Gavin Newsom got up on the podium and announced that he's signing a new bill today, banning most law enforcement officers, specifically ICE, from wearing masks during their operations. No more of these masked federal agents in California. If you're going to do your fascism in the great Golden State, you better do it with your face out in the open to be posted online.
Thank you, Mr.
Within hours, he announced this.
Well, thank you, all of you, all the speakers, everybody that
What
took
a
the time
power
to be here,
move.
everyone that inspired this legislation, this call to push back, to meet this moment, and to be accountable. And really, the spirit, I think, of these 5 bills that I'll be signing here in a moment are about accountability. Accountability that is long overdue. But let me first try to set a scene. It's one very familiar to many of you, but not necessarily to some folks that may be watching from other parts of the country. We're here in Los Angeles, the most diverse city in the most diverse state, California, in the world's most diverse democracy. It is a point of pride. We are a majority minority.
Shout out to California, by the way. Fun fact, California's GDP as a state is bigger than that of the country of France. This is why there is a lot of memeing about California seceding from the Union, becoming its own independent country, is because, like, as LARPy of a suggestion as it is, logistically it could. Like, it totally could. With its, like, economy alone, it would be able to just, like, very quickly transition into becoming a world superpower up there with several European countries and America itself. Is it really LARPy anymore? We'll have to wait and see. So like if you've seen what France's like military, trade, and like every other capability that France has, just as an example, France has a pretty like substantial navy as well. Like keep that in mind. Like California has more economy, more people, I think, even. That may not be the case, but it might actually be. Like everything, I think it has more than like France, a European, I'd say superpower nation. That's why you see a lot of this talk about California seceding from the Union and getting an NCR in real life. Because in reality, like, California can sustain itself. On a lot of areas it can sustain itself, and where it can't, it can do trade. Now, I will say, big shout out to everybody who leaves a like and a comment on this video before we continue. Really does help a lot, and I appreciate you. And consider subscribing if you want to see more from me, but only if you want to see more from me. Why else would you sub? Let's resume.
State, California. At our best, we don't tolerate that diversity. At our best, we celebrate that diversity. We're a universal state.
Based.
27% of Californians are foreign-born. You heard the superintendent talk about all of the mixed status families. Our status is unique in the United States of America. It's what makes California great. It's what makes America great. And it's under assault.
Steal that rhetoric. I love it. Yes. Yes.
By this administration. There's a word that you've never heard uttered from the President of the United States' lips, certainly not Stephen Miller, and that's pluralism. We practice pluralism. It's a deep point of pride. Those values are under assault to a degree we could have never imagined.
I'm going to be honest. Stop wasting your energy hating Gavin Newsom or any Democrat that's not siding with the Republicans over the next 4 years. Seriously. Stop it. You're wasting your time, your energy, your breath, and every calorie you spend typing out complaints about the Democrats right now that you could otherwise be spending on the Republicans. Stop wasting your time. Stop focusing your energy on the people who absolutely don't deserve the criticism. We are in a country that is teetering on the edge of fascist dictatorship, and yet still, you're doing the whole cut a liberal and a fascist bleed shit, okay? Please, guys, please get your priorities straight.
For those of you here in Los Angeles, you deeply absorb this, you deeply understand this. You saw your streets militarized. You saw the President of the United States, who in his first term...
He's a transphobe, so I do hate him a bit. Time to correct some lefty misinformation. So what you're referring to is almost certainly the same thing I've seen, though correct me if I'm wrong. I believe you're talking about what he had to say about trans athletes competing in sports. I see where you're coming from there, but this is unfortunately an issue the left is like so beyond off on the Overton window on. Right now, there's very little data that exists to prove one way or another whether or not under enough hormone treatment and just transitioning for long enough that, say, a trans woman is roughly on par with the athleticism of a trans woman. There's a lot of different facets to this argument, and it gets complicated, and most people's view of it is very simple, on left and right, which means that it's very hard to see how the normies see the issue if you're left-wing, because you're able to see... You're more likely going to see it as more complex than them, and you can't even recognize it as simplistic as they do. The problem is that, while yes, you don't want your left-wing politicians to kowtow to right-wing populist ideas in any area, there's such thing as having a private and a public position in politics. Sometimes you gotta win votes. You gotta actually win elections. You gotta get your party in power. Because if you don't, then you lose everything. Everything. And sometimes you gotta be a little less loud about certain positions you hold. Even pretend to hold positions that you don't. I remember that the term private position got really blown up in the world of politics and was a massive scandal because of Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton privately wanted to ban all quote-unquote assault weapons. from federal ownership among Americans, meaning like literally all semi-automatic rifles would be banned in all of the United States. That was Hillary Clinton's private position, but publicly she only expressed that she wanted to ban full auto weapon ownership in all cases, which is a far more acceptable take to have in America, is like heavily restricting those types of weapons as opposed to all assault weapons, quote unquote. And when people found out, due to a private like book or like interview she'd done, that this was a private position she held that was far more radically left than she espoused publicly, people got up her ass and was like, she's dishonest, she's hiding her beliefs, right? It's like, well, no, that's how politics works. You have to win votes or nothing matters. They use the same talking points against the black people. It's bullshit. It's either all or nothing. No, stop it. Stop it. Guys, that's not how politics works. What matters in politics is actually winning, not going to your grave as principled as possible. Keep that in mind. Our principles don't matter if we're fucking dead.
Never sent the military anywhere, not overseas, nowhere. In his second term, he sent the United States Marines, active duty Marines, to the city of Los Angeles. He federalized 4,000 of our National Guard. We said at the time it was a preview of things to come. Folks thought that was hyperbolic. They thought,
give them a finger and they will take the entire hand? What does that even mean? Make an actual argument, Pastel Bun, please. You're yapping, dog. Like, give them a finger. Give them a fingernail, dog. Like, these are the people that are not actively trying to kill trans people. So yeah, give them a finger. Let them have the hand. Give them the fucking arm, bro. Like, you think this is better than them being in power? Like, Hassan has poisoned these people's brains, bro. Oh my god. Oh man, these are the people that make me just want to retire.
Thought we were overstating it. Ask the folks in Washington, D.C. Ask the folks other states like Illinois and what's about to happen in Memphis. We announced just a few weeks ago that we were standing up and pushing back as it relates to the rigging of elections. We were at the Democracy Center in Little Tokyo, the sacred site where we were interning and busing the Japanese. That shameful part of our past.
Yep. That we
and
cover
what did
up.
the administration do? What did Stephen Miller do? What did Donald Trump do? They sent masked men to intimidate folks from walking in to that event. Masked men. Poor soul that happened to be in the area, delivery guy delivering strawberries was
yes,
detained
Sexy Jacks.
because he just happened to be in the area. Collateral damage.
He was brown.
These masked men had no identification. These masked men did not provide any information, name, badge number, hidden from accountability, any transparency, any oversight. That's Trump's America, but it is not
True.
the America we've grown up in.
Like him or hate him, he's spitting.
And so we're pushing back against this. For so many of you in Los Angeles, we talk about authoritarianism. Some think we're being hyperbolic. Depends the lens you see the world. Which set of eyes? For someone like me, I may not be experiencing it, but for many folks you see behind me, they have experienced it.
Make it a little easier to see the ASL interpreter.
There was a young man who was here as an advisor to the superintendent we just met with. He says, you don't need to touch the flame to feel the burn.
You're welcome,
The
Flare
impact
Games.
of these policies all across this city, our state, and nation are terrifying. It's like a dystopian sci-fi movie. Unmarked cars, people en masse, people quite literally disappearing, no due process, no rights in a democracy where we have rights. Immigrants have rights. And we...
A surprising amount of Americans do not believe that immigrants should have, like, the rights that America affords people in its borders. No due process, that kind of thing.
have the right to stand
shocking
up
amount.
and push back. And that's what we're doing here today. This is a disgrace. This is an outrage, what we have allowed to happen in this country.
Listen, we need the experiment that is a liberal trying to be liberal Trump. We need to try this experiment, and so far the experiment is working.
And I could not be more proud of this legislature, the legislative authors, to the community demanding more from all of us at this moment to push back. I'll be signing a bill, the first in the nation, saying enough. To ICE, unmask. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? If you're going to go out and you're going to do enforcement, provide an ID. Tell us which agency you represent.
Yes.
Provide us basic information that all local law enforcement is required to provide.
Trump's biggest allergy, he's deathly allergic to accountability.
Have the decency not to threaten people as they go to school, to go out in the parking lots proximate to these schools to create chill, packed attendance.
I've noticed most people most aggressive on defending trans women in sports aren't actually transgender. I've noticed that too, and it feels like people that are just really attached to like the principle of being pro-trans, and the fact is, you can just like drop certain issues. Like, you don't have to concede it, but you can just say, I'm not engaging with this. This is a wedge issue that like is meant to be hard to argue for the left. I'm not going to let the right make that the issue. Like, that is so unimportant. Like, sure, you know what? Let's get to the trans sports thing in the future. For now, let's keep them out of concentration camps. That's probably where a lot of Democrats are right now, because when you look at the polling, most Americans do not like it when Democrats say, yeah, let trans women compete against cis women. They don't like it. It makes them mad. And so right now, we need to get these people into power, and then we start bread pilling the general population and make them realize they have the wrong take on this, unfortunately, very significant wedge issue.
We talked to these kids. They were saying, one of you said, I've got friends, they don't go on the metro anymore. It's a public space. So your superintendent had the decency, foresight, and leadership to provide transportation. That's Trump's America. Hospitals. You talk about health infrastructure. You talk about community health. People scared to death to even access a community clinic for preventative medicine. Worried.
Remember, doctors are afraid to provide care to patients that are trying to get like prenatal care, because in some cases, said prenatal care can risk inducing, like accidentally inducing early birth, which is legally, technically an abortion of pregnancy. And there's so much muddying of the water around the state level laws that doctors are afraid to even like touch a pregnant woman in a lot of cases. It's so bad, bro. Like, obviously there are so many cases in which pregnancies can go horrifically wrong, and it can be deadly and requires immediate medical assistance. One of the ones that stuck with me after I learned of it is the concept of an ectopic pregnancy, which is when to break it down, the ovaries produce an egg. It travels through the fallopian tubes, and instead of reaching the uterus where it is then fertilized by a sperm, it gets stuck in the fallopian tubes. And then after getting nutted inside of the uterus is not where the sperm stays. It gets to the fallopian tubes, or sometimes I've heard it gets to the uterus, the egg gets to the uterus, gets fertilized, and floats back into the fallopian tubes and gets stuck, usually after the embryo has developed a little bit. And inside the fallopian tube, not in the space, the expandable elastic uterus space that's made for this process, inside the tube meant for a tiny little egg to be sent through, the egg starts developing into an embryo and then into a fetus. And at a certain point, not super far into the pregnancy, mind you, the fallopian tube can rupture, causing severe sepsis and a horrible, painful, internal bleeding-laden death if not operated on immediately. The pain has been described as indescribable by many. And I don't even want to get too into it because I know that some of you folks are quite squeamish. And that's just one way. Another way that doctors might not know what to do in a lot of these states with how the laws are written is how I was born. When I was, I think like a couple weeks out from being due, I was just doing some flips and shit around inside my mom's uterus, and I got the umbilical cord wrapped around my neck and proceeded to choke myself out and died. That's right, chat. I fucking died. They had to emergency C-section my mom and pull my purple ass out. That's right. Apparently, according to my mom, I was purple, and just immediately get to work providing CPR and life-saving care. And they managed to resurrect me from the dead upon my birth. I was born dead, and they resurrected me. They brought me back, and thankfully I didn't suffer. But the brain damage wasn't that bad. But then again, I am a YouTuber, so I'll leave that up to you guys. But I lived. Details of my death were greatly exaggerated. Biblical? Nah, this happens astonishingly often, which is exactly why it's a problem that doctors are like scared to do things in these situations, because it requires immediate action.
Somehow they're going to be turned in, or someone without identification, looking like anyone else with a mask on, may just jump out of a car and they may disappear. So I want to thank the legislative leaders for asserting themselves and providing me the privilege, the ability to sign these laws, pushing back at this moment. I thought Jon Stewart said it best. This is not about the pronoun police. This is about the secret police. We're not North Korea, Mr. President. We're not the Soviet Union. This is the United States of America.
Based.
And I'm really proud of the state of California and our state of mind that we're pushing back against these authoritarian tendencies and actions of this administration. ICE is now the largest private police force in the United States of America. And I say private because increasingly it appears to many of us
the secret
that
police
they have sworn an oath to Donald Trump, not the Constitution. A private police force whose ranks are going to grow by some 10,000, dwarfing the FBI and DEA. Only comparable staffing and investments are military operations around the globe. That's what Congress, the supine leadership in Congress, provided, along with the supine members of the Supreme Court that have allowed racial profiling on the basis of accent, basis of location, and skin color. This is
He's
not
brown,
America.
get him!
And so we are pushing back firmly. We're pushing back using not just our formal authority, but perhaps the most important authority, and that's our moral authority. So thank you to the members of the legislature. Yeah. Thank you to the authors of these bills. And it's my honor now to sign into law 4 pieces of legislation that go in effect immediately upon signature,
yes,
and 1 on the masking that will formally go into effect.
Remember, if it's brown, it goes down. Yeah, from the South Park episode.
Effect January of 2026. With that, let's sign these.
Don't fuck with Gavin Newsom, bro. Like, some Republican tries a stunt on him, and within 3 hours, it's like, okay, I have an idea on a bill I think I could sign. I hope Gavin Newsom just starts, like, piling up fuck you bills like this. Like, neat ideas for bills that would be a fuck you to the Trump administration that they have no power to override. And, like, every time Trump does some stupid bullshit or tries to, like, specifically attacks him, like, within an hour, I want Gavin Newsom on a podium in front of the news signing a bill that's a response fuck you. Because this was such a power move, dude. I swear to God, bro. Very soon, this bear is gonna have 2 heads. Oh, man. Not gonna lie, guys, I might move back to California if the NCR becomes real. I really want to have some NCR Ranger armor. I want to be an NCR Ranger, guys. Come on, come on, come on, please, make it real. Please. Can't we just go to Canada, annex them, you know, like, just speed up the timeline, make Fallout happen, you know, cryo-freeze me until, like, 300 or so years in, you know, send me out into the California wasteland. Oh my god, I'll have a blast, bro. Actually, no, the second I see a rad roach, I'd probably unalive myself, I'm not gonna lie. I don't fuck with that shit. Anyway, folks, if y'all enjoyed this segment, if you found it entertaining, educational, or enjoyable in any way whatsoever, then please consider leaving a like and a comment down below. It really does help the channel a lot and means a ton to me. Thank you to everybody who supports the channel in such ways. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell icon so YouTube actually tells you when I go live or upload new videos. Excuse me. Follow my social medias linked down below if you want to see more from me in the future. And of course, if you want to support me directly, financially, help me keep the lights on and a roof above my head here at the Xander Hall studio, then please consider donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buy some custom Xander Hall merchandise through the Streamlabs link down below. Regardless of how you support me, though, thank you all so much for watching, as always, and have a good one.